It's gone.
Oh, lovely stuff. Look, it's beautiful. Wow. I've got my own very own private concert. That was fantastic, Jack. Thank you.
Well, these are basses that I've been developing with Tom Rebecki for the last 10 years. And of course, it never fails, does it? Well, this will be perfect. Yorma, let me put you on speaker because I'm doing an interview with a gentleman in Scotland right now. We're doing a Zoom interview, so you might as well say hi.
Hi, I'm driving, but I'd love to say hi.
Okay, that's good. So I'll check. I'll call you later on.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Wonderful. I did actually speak with Yorma a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago now. So, yeah.
All right. So, in any case, speaking of Yorma, that's why I developed, along with Tom Rebecki, a great instruments maker, luthier, and a true acoustic bass guitar, as you just heard, not plugged in. And the challenge was, since I've played with Yorma and since I was 14 and he was 17 is when we started playing together. Uh, I've always had, I built little outfits, with my electric basses to try to blend in well with an acoustic instrument. And of course, Yorma is not an electric guitar player who plays unplugged acoustic. He's an acoustic master of the instrument.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, and all the overtones that come off of the acoustic guitar that he gets, I always have been chasing a good sound that works in harmony with that sonically. And I finally found one. I had a couple of acoustic instruments like a Guild B30, big round, basically looks like a big jumbo guitar. But I was never really satisfied with that. Part of the reason was we tended to, with those two open round hole instruments, they tended to knock each other's harmonics out at times. And when I finally came upon the phenomenon of an F-hole instrument, with the way it has that sort of bark sound in an arch top F-hole instrument, works really well with a round hole instrument. And you kind of work in separate areas, but yet it's both acoustic. And that's how we started working with these instruments. And so my late wife, Diana Balfour Casady, when she passed away in 2012, it was just devastating. And in her honor, I was playing, soon after by myself, and tears falling down, playing my B30 in the room. And I said, this just is not it. I'll refrain from using the words I was using at the time. And so I called Tom up, started to do some research, and we started making instruments. I've made 5, or he's made 5 of them now, of different kinds, different objects in mind. So now I have a true acoustic instrument to play with Yorma when we do acoustic hot tuna. It really works out great, and that's the big news the last 10 years or so in that world, in the acoustic world.
Yeah. Absolutely. Obviously, sonically, audioly, it's fantastic, but visually as well. I mean, the design on the fretboard, is that all completely from you? Is that your choice?
Well, this is really funny. This is the Dyna number one, and it's got all kinds of letters. See, we saw the little people, as it were, Diana and I, and we had this whole imaginary group and crew of little people, like you see the blue-footed boobies there.
Yeah.
Okay. And on the back are Puffin, and this is Puff and Sammy McGregor, who the fantasy goes Puff meant Sammy McGregor in Jersey, Channel Islands, while I lived. There's a whole romantic story that goes with this, but I won't get into it. And here we have Snaggy the Dragon on the fretboard, along with what represents what Dinah saw in me is Taz, the Tasmanian devil, as she called me. And so he's being protected by Snaggy the Dragon in the neck. And then we have on the top two creatures, Billy and Bertha. They're the eagles, and they watch over us. They're the powerful eagles. So all these critters and things like this were all part of the fun that we had together, and I wanted to figure out how to incorporate it into the tragedy, to have it somehow move into the real world. And I put some locks of her hair that when she was in chemo.
Oh, wow.
And so I put some strands of locks and hair that are inside the instrument, so that her DNA flows through my fingertips. And that's the long story. I don't know how I got into that just now, but anyway. So we've developed a bunch of instruments. This one was the first one. I have Dinah number 2 out in Jersey, in my home out there. And number 3 is the road horse. It's the one I take out on the road. And there's a new development with the tops, the concentric tops that Tom Rebecki is building, but that basically moves at a horizontal direction from the instrument, and it's a separate piece of wood set down in the instrument, because we're trying to develop to get more volume out of the instrument, because it's never going to match a double bass, and part of the reason it doesn't is because the double bass is the size it is. So, but you can't exactly hold that in your lap. So with that in mind, here's one that I use on the road all the time. Now it's become the road workhorse, and it has a port in the top, plus what's really interesting here, it's got a port for me. So the difference in tone, you might be able to hear it here. There it's closed, and there it's open, which opens up the sound a little bit to me as the player, instead of it all going out in front of me. So, say this one has a woodier sound.
Oh, yeah.
But really, this got a full double scale, and so I get up nice and high. Etc.
Beautiful.
You can do a lot with it just with your hand dynamics, Cedric.
Oh,